This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Basketball-wise, I want to start there because we haven't really spent much time in an hour and a half.
Tom got pickpocketed by Vandy the other night. That's what happened.
Yeah. Tom, what, again, Vanderbilt hadn't scored 80 all year. They put 85 on you. They hadn't won a road game all year. They won at Bud Walton Arena. You have the same record under Muss against Cal and Stackhouse at 3-3. Why do you have so much trouble with the Vanderbilt Commodores basketball? Not the baseball team, the basketball team.
That is a great question. I wish I knew. Maybe it's the professional connection that Stackhouse and Muss have both been in the pros so much that maybe Stack has some kind of insight into how Musselman does things. I don't know, but his team, Arkansas made that big closing run, and they held them off. The three-point play was a big deal. There were way too many offensive putbacks and stuff like that, and for Vandy, you have to give them credit. They're down there. They have to win the conference tournament, which they're not going to do. And they hung in there on the road. And it's just amazing that the same issue has cropped up here and there, just, getting beat on the dribble on offense and then, not securing enough defensive rebounds that it ends up costing you. And of all the downers this year, that's probably the worst downer. And they could have gotten past Georgia, and then A&M is right there, one game ahead. And if they'd gotten past Georgia and then somehow, got hot down the stretch, they'd have gotten out of the Wednesday game or the first round of games at the SEC tournament. And now, who knows if that's possible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the standings right now. If you win the other night, obviously you're 6-9, and you'd be tied with Ole Miss and A&M, and I think they get you tied for 8th right now, but you're really kind of tied for 9th or 10th. But anyway, it would put you in that position. Now it seems like with the schedule ahead, it will be impossible to get out of the first night of the SEC tournament.
Kentucky and Alabama are both gaining steam. Both of those on the road. That's really tough. It's a big payback game against LSU, and maybe they can get that one at home. But, yeah, it does seem tough. And had they just been able to beat Vanderbilt, they would have changed the positioning. But it's just one of those deals. It's been a rough year, and there's been a few results like that have just been kind of head-scratchers. Start with an opening game of conference play, losing by 30 to Auburn. Yeah, Auburn's a really good team, but 31 is just unbelievable.
Yeah, like getting beat 50 in football. But, hey, you look at Khalif Battle in the last two games he's had, no pun intended, but what kind of battle is this program in for to keep him with the NIL out there? Do you foresee a lot of suitors for his transfer?
Well, is that the way it's supposed to work?
No.
Team X reaches out to Khalif Battle and is like, hey, we'll pay you this. That's not the way it's supposed to work, but I guess through intermediaries and such, that's the way it does work. But, he's a guy you'd love to have back because his scoring prowess. You could kind of build up your offense around him. He's great at drawing fouls. It took him a while to get on the defensive game plan, clearly, because he had some games he didn't play or he played very scant minutes. And now he and Tremont Mark are the big scoring threat. It's the interior. That zone messed Arkansas up. It just did. And they've had decent battle plans against the zones and in various games, and they've done okay. But Mekhi Mitchell not scoring, the head scratcher.
Yeah, that free throw the other night where Arkansas did not get the rebound after had it set up, the missed free throw attempts, and then free throws are set up for the opponent to get the rebound, and somehow Arkansas with mismatches and with the rotation they had on the floor doesn't get the rebound there. What did you make of that sequence, which I thought was large in the game the other night?
Well, it was huge because if you get that rebound, you've got 21 seconds left, and you're down 3. And there's a lot of possibilities from there. You could tie it with a 3. You could try to go 2 and foul, early. It gives you a lot more options than being down 6. And it's just one of those that in the moment, Vin Allen Lubin just had he wanted it a little bit more, and he got in the proper position, and you foul him going up. So just Yeah, that was a game changer right there.
What did you make of Arkansas's smaller lineup that was on the floor in that moment when you had to have a rebound?
Well, I mean, I think you're thinking about having three-point shooters on the floor at that point, and your guards are going to be more likely to do that. So I guess it was just a calculated risk that Muss took at that point, and it didn't work out on the box outs.
Tom Murphy's with us here on the McCarty Daniel Hotline. Tom, let's shift to baseball. You got Murray State in town this weekend. I was listening to Phil talk about it. Racers have hit the ball pretty decent at this point of the season. Are you expecting starting pitching to kind of do what they've done through the first 2 weeks?
Well, it's going to be warmer, and hopefully that'll play well for Hagen Smith. And he gave no excuse for that first game when it was in the 30s. And his grip probably wasn't what he wanted it to be, but he gave no excuse. But then he turned around and threw the 6 innings with 17 strikeouts. It was just phenomenal against a really good hitting Oregon State team. They have a look of a team that can go a long way this year. So Arkansas starting pitching was phenomenal last weekend. Molina was on his game. Tigert was on. I mean, that's 3 aces. And if those guys stay healthy, they can take you a long way. But now the hitting's got to come around more. The Grambling game being somewhat of an anomaly against, not the greatest pitching staff. So they're going to have a battle on their hands. James Madison got 1 out of 4, but if the pitchers show up and throw like they did in Arlington, then the odds for a sweep are a lot stronger in your favor.
Do you care about what the baseball team does in non-conference play, or is it just about what they do in the SEC?
Well, having a huge non-conference record is a big deal for your eventual seeding and that kind of stuff, and what your overall record looks like. And obviously they're on a huge homestand. I think they have 10 more, and you don't want to be losing games at home to non-cons. So the more you can keep that down, the better. I mean, LSU's already got a loss to Stony Brook, but and they're a national championship team from last year. So you can do whatever at the end of the season. Ole Miss proved that by skeeching into the tournament and then winning it all. But the route of doing it at home in the regionals and super regionals on paper is so much easier. And Arkansas certainly got in Omaha, not via that route, but it's easier at home.
Tom, let's before we go, let's come back to Hagen Smith. Clay was with us yesterday morning. We were talking about what the value was of his performance down in Arlington, and we came to the conclusion that, hey, he was a top 15 guy going into that game, despite 1 inning and 1 outing. That's a blip on the radar. He probably moved up more than anyone ever did with one performance because of the metrics, because of the velocity, because of the velocity on the slider late. Clay was thinking this was maybe a $7 or $8 million night for him from the standpoint of draft capital. What do you think the value was of Hagen Smith's performance in front of 40-some-odd scouts, in front of against a great opponent? It might be the most valuable single-game performance if you really think about what he did for himself.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I'm not inside baseball to tell you the exact dollar figure, but, yeah, if that moves you up into the, top 5, top 8 picks, then yeah, you could put a substantial price tag on that. And $7 or $8 million, that's probably not a stretch. So good on him, that he didn't let the 1 inning outing against James Madison throw him back. He was on his game. I've never seen anything like 15 strikeouts in 5 innings. I had guys who cover other teams around the country texting me like, what is Hagen Smith doing? Are you watching this? Like, yeah, I'm watching this. And the baseball guys. And so that was really cool to see.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.